It's indeed a great pleasure to be in Hathras again. I think it's my second time interacting with you, and I'm happy that Sahodaya is hosting the conference, and I don't know whether I shared it on an earlier occasion. How was the Sahodaya born? Any idea?
Because of large numbers.
When was the Sahodaya born, and what was the objective of the Sahodaya? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I must share this with you because as people who are having a Sahodaya conference, you must know the history of Sahodaya also. The history dates back to somewhere early 80s, and it was sometime in late 70s and 80s, the number of schools in CBSE was much less. We had hardly about 2,000 schools across the country, right? And schools were very scattered. As a matter of fact, not very close. Probably in each state you had a couple of schools over there. And the only office CBSE had was at Delhi, right? The CBSE office at Delhi. And we had one. Yeah.
I think it's a problem. You can fix it in your belt.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah. Hello. I think no, it's not here. It should be here.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. At that time, the CBSE had only an office in Delhi, and there was a what do you call a liaison office at Chennai, and the liaison office had only 3 people: one assistant secretary, one clerk, and a peon. And the job was liaison, that if there is any problem, they can talk on telephone. The results were all being done from Delhi, right? No certificates, nothing could be obtained from elsewhere. And incidentally, I was a principal at that time in one of the schools at Chennai, and we had an association at that time called APSC, Association of the Private Schools Affiliated to CBSE, and we were about 120 schools comprising of Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Karnataka, and Andhra, put together 120 schools. And we had a problem. What's the problem? The results of CBSE will be declared sometime in the month of May, and we used to get it after 3 weeks. Because, no communication of electronic communication those days. The results will be posted by registered post. It will come to the school nearly 3 weeks later. So we used to keep guessing, or somebody has to come all the way from Delhi to Delhi and take it there. So we had a lot of problem. If you want a migration certificate, probably a child has to come all the way to Delhi to get a migration certificate, spend 1,000 rupees for a 15 rupee over there. And we did not know who were the principals at that point of time. There was no platform for meeting the principals. So at that time we had Father T.V. Kunakal, who was the chairman of the CBSE in the early 80s, and we proposed from the APSC. I was the secretary of the APSC at that time. So we proposed, why not we have a meeting of the principals all over the country so that we at least know who they are. So the first conference of the principals of CBSE was held at Chennai in 1982 at Assad Memorial School. And we invited principals all over the country, and we had about 350 principals who attended the conference. And as a secretary of the APSC, we were the hosts. And I did not know the principles or the culture of the principals because Tamil Nadu was very conservative. We were all very conservative principals. We never knew that principals of Delhi were 5-star principals, and they had a different view. So what happened was, the moment we got in, and we made one blunder. We said, all principals will get free boarding and lodging for 3 days. And when we gave a 2-bedroom for 2 principals, everybody wanted a single room, and then they wanted and somebody called up in the middle of the night and said, Mr. Balasubramanian, what is this room? Bugs are there on my bed, what will you do about that? I said, I can't be bugging in the night, 12 o'clock, and that. So we found that was a huge problem, and at that time, then we said, that's not the way we interact with the principal, that we must have some platform by which we should come together. So this idea of a unit by which principals, local principals would react was passed as a resolution of the 1982 conference. And sometime back when I joined the board in 1984, and then father was a chairman at the time, he said, what are you going to do about the resolution? So we came with the concept of Sahodaya. What is a Sahodaya? 5 or more schools which are geographically close together, that's underlying point, come together and so have a Sahodaya unit by which they can share their experiences, they conduct competitions, learn together. That is a concept of living together and learning together, and that was the objective of Sahodaya. We started with 7 Sahodayas in 1985 to start with. And the first Sahodaya conference of CBSE was held in Sardar Patel Vidyalaya of Delhi, when Mrs. Viva Parsadi was a principal. And second conference was held in Meerut, and third conference was held in Jaipur. And today we have had 24 conferences held, and I had the privilege of organizing 18 first conferences and attending about 22 conferences out of the 24, right? So what is the objective of Sahodaya? To put the principles together, right? So, because very often I say keeping 2 principles is very difficult. They are like positive charges, they repel each other. So if you want to, 100 principles together, how do you keep them together? Is that beyond all your knowledge, beyond your ego, beyond your operational thing, how do you put them? So Sahodaya has been a very good experience of people growing together with its own merits and demerits, because I have seen many Sahodayas doing exceedingly good performances. I have also seen Sahodayas which have failed because where it all depends on I am a school principal of a school with 25 years. Now the present president is only principal of a school with 2 years experience. Who is bigger, who is smaller, and what they have done. There are 101 issues. There are personal issues which have destroyed some of the Sahodayas. Nevertheless, we have got hundreds, 200 plus Sahodayas conferences were held. So I thought I must share with you how was Sahodaya born and there. And there are good Sahodayas. For example, in one of the Sahodayas, what happened was the physics teacher resigned in the month of January. When the exams were to be conducted, he had resigned in December. So the principal was pressing the panic button. So another principal of Sahodaya said, why are you worried, sir? I will send my PGT. He will come and take 2 days in a week for you. We will help it out. Instead of thinking, thank God that PGT is gone, let's see how the result comes there, right? So this kind of a change, all that happened. Sahodaya has worked well. Later, Sahodayas became nucleus for making demands with the CBSE to have, we want to have an evaluation center. This is what is our opinion. Please send it to us. There is a change in circular change, all that's coming through. So as a unit, if one principal makes a particular reference to CBSE, probably people may not listen. But when a unit of people, principals are there, so, and also it became for CBSE a reference point to seek opinions from that's the history of the Sahodaya, and I'm very happy that a number of people from Sahodayas far and wide are here to see something about the leadership today. Well, friends, down the memory lane, when I go back, I joined as a principal when I was 30. Right? I was the youngest principal to have been appointed at that time. Because, I will tell you the history, because I never wanted to be a principal, never thought would be a principal. So I was working as a postgraduate teacher in one of the schools, DAV schools in Chennai, right? And I had just come back from attending a 6-month course on curriculum development in UK. So one day I was going to a temple as a typical South Indian with a dhoti. I was going to a temple. On the way there is a school, which is a very, famous school called the Hindu Senior Secondary School. And I was walking through with just a dhoti and a Hawaii chappal. And I found the correspondent of the school standing outside. Somebody told him, he is Mr. BALASUBRAMANIan there. Oh, I have been searching for him, asked him to come there. So the gentleman called me, the Mr. Correspondent wants to see you. I said, how do I come with a dhoti and a Hawaii chappal? No, just come there. I went there. So he just met me and said, can you say something about yourself? And I said 5 minutes. Then he looked at me and said, I want to offer you my principalship of the school from 1st of May. And this incident happened on 26th of January, 26th of December. From 1st of May, would you take over? I was shocked because, you know, my hairs were not gone grey. I was very young, just married 6 months before. So I said, no sir, you know. He said, no. I mean, I think you people lecturers like you should come there. And he talked to me for 5 minutes. I said, sir, I have not given an application and all that. He said, don't worry about the application. Now come and give it by 15th of January because this month is not very auspicious. So come and give it. And then he asked me a question. How much salary would you expect? I never knew what I knew that my principal, the school where I was working, one gentleman called Kulapati Balakrishna Joshi, a person whom I cannot forget, a mentor. I will tell you the model principal whom I had. Because every day as a postgraduate teacher, we walk into the school. The gentleman used to come with a dhoti, a typical Gujarati pattern dhoti and a jibba and with a cap, Gujarati cap. The first thing that we go to the school, the moment we enter, we go and touch his feet and then go to the class. Even a single day if I don't meet my principal, that aaj kya ho gaya, principal sahab aaye nahi hai, because he was a great mentor. He used to say, Bala, a teacher is a source of positive energy. When he walks into the classroom, he radiates positive energy. And if you radiate positive energy, it comes back to you a million times. If you radiate negative energy, it comes back to you a million times. But if I have 100 teachers in my school, if every teacher has to give a positive energy, as a principal, how much of positive energy I should have?
Yes, that's true.
Right? So that was the kind of the principal whom I had. And I knew that he was the only national awardee from South India at that time. Right? Because today, every month, you get so many awards. We'll come to that later. Branding. So this principal was my mentor, right? And when he was drawing a salary of 1,500, and as a PGT, I was drawing a salary of 950 rupees, right? 950 rupees. So when this the gentleman asked me, how much do you expect? I told him, sir, even if you give me 1 rupee more, I will come, because you have trusted me and you say that you will give me principalship. I trust you and I am sure you will take care of what my needs are. Ladies and gentlemen, you won't believe, he offered me a job and I joined on 1st of May for a salary of 1,000 rupees. That's the salary of the principal. But I was very young. And you know, the day I entered the school, I had 132 staff. 128 ladies and 4 gents. 2,400 students. Right? When I entered, first comment I got in the school from one of the Hindi teachers, "Bacha aa gaya." Because a principal means you need a grey hair. You need a grey hair. And how is that he is a young man? Ye kya janta hai? We are all 15 years experience. He is the question basically, how do you create an acceptability? So I had to develop my own brand. So I decided that I will go only with a white shirt and a white pant to my school. So every day with a slack half shirt tucked in, I went. After 5 days after joining the school, I was standing at the gate. Parents were coming to leave the children. One parent came to me. I asked him, what do you want, sir? I want to meet the principal. I went to the room, sat down. Just tell me, sir, what do you want? I told you I want to be the principal. He wouldn't accept me that to be a principal. And that's how. And what was the problem? I started with 132 teachers with 154 groups inside. Okay. कौन से टीचर किस ग्रुप में थे किसी को पता नहीं. Imagine 132. The whole question is, it was absolutely in disarray for the reason the former principal was a retired gentleman. उनको थोड़ा कुछ बताना था, was not working. But there were so many problems. How do we take it to the school? So today when I go to the school as a principal, for inspection or something, when I go, I see at the gate a gentleman with a t-shirt and a jeans short. with a Reebok shoe. So he takes me, sir, I am the principal, please come. When as a principal, I did not allow my teachers in the 70s to wear jeans pant. ऐसे स्कूल के लिए जीन्स पैंट नहीं पहन के आते. But can I tell the principal, my principal is coming now, can I find fault with him? No, the world is changing. The world is changing. So you remember the kind of the evolution that has happened around the way the leadership of a school changes. Today, if somebody asks me, for 40 years I have spent in education, and today if somebody comes and asks me, Mr. Bala, if I offer you for the post of principal, will you take? I said, thank you so much. Zindagi mein dobara galti nahi karna. The job of a principal today is much more difficult than the job of a CEO of a multinational company. The CEO of a multinational company may be sitting in a room, and then he can have a personal manager, a finance manager, HR manager, a public relations manager, and everybody looking after the job, and he can spend crores and crores of rupees, but he doesn't have to make a personal appearance. But today, my principal is all in one. HR bhi unhi ko dekhna hai, but, 101 things. And therefore, the job of a principal of a school is much more difficult than that. There's a saying in a book called The Art of War, which I used to quote, is also given by Leon Trotsky. He said, you may not be interested in the war, but the war is interested in you. सुबह सुबह आते ही आप क्या करते हैं? आज का दिन तो अच्छा चला जाए, है ना? ये साल छोड़िए, आज का दिन तो. And the moment you go and sit down in your chair, one parent has come to drop the child at the school. He brings the child in the scooter. Gate में वो रोक के छोड़ता है, and then you find the peons, the gatekeeper standing. Sir, scooters वहाँ छोड़िए सर. 1 मिनट में बच्चों को छोड़ के जाता हूँ. 1 मिनट भी नहीं सर, या तो बस आएगा, आप वहाँ छोड़िए. अरे छोड़ो यार, 1 मिनट. सुनता नहीं है, दोनों के बीच झगड़ा आता है. The parent will leave the scooter right there, come to the school. What kind of a principal are you? You are training all your teachers. You don't train your gatekeeper. You don't train your gatekeeper. Somehow you pacify the parent, right? And then a class pani pee ke is taraf, you just turn your hair, your secretary will come. Ma'am, yes. 3 teachers have applied for leave today. वो किसी को छोड़ भाई, वो सब्सिडी को करना ही पड़ेगा.
3 are less.
I am very polite. The question is, there was a culture in early days when a teacher wants to take leave, right? She will think my children will suffer, therefore I have to tell in advance. But it is a routine today. You just don't know how many teachers will take leave today. They have no control. I'm not finding fault. The system is changing. You may not be interested in the war, but the war is interested in you. I was just narrating to them yesterday an incident that happened in Tamil Nadu. In one of the government schools, girls' schools, the teacher, the mathematics teacher, scolded 4 girls of class 9 who have not done their homework. She said there, and she took them to the principal. They have not done homework for the last 3 times. They have not done. They took to him. The principal shouted at them, said, you can't be doing like that. And this happened at 11 o'clock. At afternoon 1 o'clock, all the 4 children went and suicided by falling into the well in the school over there. The principal and the teacher have been arrested and put on suspension. In the morning when the principal ma'am came, probably she did not pray well, right? Pata nahi, you are not interested in the war, but the war is interested in you. है ना? हर दिन. I don't know how many of you have seen that beautiful joke which came in the email, A mother goes to the son and says, Sonny, it's late, please get up, you have to go to the school. And Mummy, I am not going to the school today. Why? You have already taken leave frequently, why are you taking leave today also? Nobody likes me in the school, neither my teacher nor the student. Right? And he says, you can't be taking leave like that, please go to the school. After all, you are the principal of the school. Everybody can take leave, you can't take leave. You are not interested in the war, but the war is interested in you. Right? challenges the principal faces today, and you make another prayer today, आज CBSE से नया सर्कुलर नहीं आ जाए, पता नहीं क्या सर्कुलर आएगा. पहले तो हफ्ते में आता था, 15 दिन में आता था, 15 मिनट पे आता है. Right? The kind of challenges that you are finding, you are not interested in. How do you handle this this situation? Are you going to handle it diplomatically, strategically, or militarily? How will you? You have a conviction. CBSE says 5 NCERT books only. You know NCERT books will not come for 6 months. But then, how are you going to file a case against CBSE? No. सवाल ही नहीं है.
Depends on the situation.
Strategically, क्या strategy करें? उनको तो answer करना ही है. Diplomatically, you have to attend. The whole question is that the situation today, I'm not talking about books, I'm saying that the whole scenario of learning is changing today. Well, how we define education is different. Unfortunately, as I was telling her while coming, today the only thing that doesn't happen in schools is education. I'm sorry to say that. Because there are 3 important terms. Wherever I go, I talk about them: certification, qualification, and education. We are not only certifying children today. You go to a child of class 9 and ask a child, "Bede, what's the difference between acidic oxide and basic oxide?" He will look at you, "Sir, this is in 8th class syllabus." Huh? Oh, chala gaya, sir, I am in 9th class now. I know. You have a problem. Thank God, at least the new circular says the child has to remember at least for 1 year. Right? Which is totally against the principles of learning. You can't remember even for 1 day. We will come to some of the challenges. How the brain sciences have really defined what learning is. And are we really talking about, one of the issues we are talking about, people come to me, "Bala sir, you should have gone and seen what is the curriculum of Finland." Right? How children are happy in Finland. I know. Finland is 1/3 of your UP. Right? You can't replicate that whole of in India. Culturally it's different. And as I was just telling her, if you look at the policy of education in Finland, Finland policy says the most important objective of the education policy is to increase the happiness index of my children, the children. Children have to be happy at any cost. Unfortunately, for 50 years now, we have not put the word happiness in any of our policies. As a matter of fact, all of our education is totally working against happiness. Right? Finland is number 5 in happiness index. India is 122, below Burma. Because our education system doesn't address the happiness of the child. Why? Because we want to, in all our education system, we want to put into the mind, the children, into the minds of children what we want rather than what they need. That's a problem. And even your policy, your curriculum, your syllabus does not help in that. Now the question is, you may be working with ICSE, you may be working with CBSE, you may be working with state board, does not matter. After all, I studied in the state board and became a director of CBSE. Why not? The question basically is, whatever you learn, how do you learn? How do you construct your knowledge? How do you construct your knowledge is very important. Right? Unfortunately, what we do is, we don't let the child construct any knowledge. We only want the child to record whatever has been said in the class, which is totally, absurd. So, the question is, how are you going to handle these issues? So, I come back to my question that if I am offered the post of a principal, I don't want to be a principal. So, you are all great warriors, I must congratulate you. Right? Friends, the question is, before I go to define what is leadership and how do we handle that, I wanted to share with you 2 incidents which happened to me. One, about 10 years back when I was visiting a school in Meerut, the principal wanted me to address the assembly. And when I addressed the assembly, after that the students of class 9 had assembled. And one child of class 9, a girl child, stood up and asked me a question. Sir, in the last 15 minutes, when you talk, you use two words. One is called Vidya, the other is called education. Are they same? Are they same? I was flat. मैंने सोचा ही नहीं था. I might be the director of CBSE. मैं तो ऐसे ही दे दिया education, Vidya. But what is the difference? I had to go and do my homework, research. Education, edu sire. Edu sire means what? To bring out what is inside. To bring out what is inside. And Vidya, with, which is the root. So Vidya refers to the proper process of blossoming from within. It's a process from inward to outward. Whereas education is to bring out from outward to inward. Both meant the same thing, but one was from in to out, the other was from outside to inside. So our very definition of Vidya was great because we allowed the child to blossom. We allowed the child to learn, and that's exactly what Aurobindo said. Aurobindo said the first true principle of teaching is that nothing can be taught. What a beautiful statement. Nothing can be taught. That's why I have done a number of programs in many schools for teachers. More than 50 programs I have done on the title called Stop Teaching. And the principal used to get annoyed. I called this man to talk to my teachers how to teach, and he has brought a title of the topic, Stop Teaching. Stop Teaching. Because there's nothing called teaching. So what is that I do? Start reaching. Unless otherwise you reach a child, you cannot teach the child. Unless otherwise you reach a child, you cannot teach a child. So the whole process is learning, and that's exactly what brain-based sciences say, neurocognitive sciences say, that there is nothing called teaching. You cannot teach people. You can only create an environment in which learning takes place. So my school is a facilitation platform. My teachers are the facilitators. So whatever be the curriculum, Newton's third laws are available in CBSE, ICSE, IB as well as in the State Board. Nobody can meddle with the Newton's third law. But the way you teach the Newton's third law could be different. The approaches could be different. So it does not matter. You see, if you go to the airport, there is a runway. Whether a Boeing goes in there or a jet goes into that or a helicopter goes in there, runway is the same. Any flight can take off. It depends on the power. My curriculum, my textbooks are like the runway from which people take off. Learning takes off over there. And that is the objective of the situation. So that was one incident which changed me what education is. So my question to the principals always is, are we addressing to Vidya or are we addressing to education? The second problem, issue that I had, when I was addressing a group of class 11 students about 3 years back in one of the schools, when the session was, question answer session came, one boy stood up and asked me a question, very stupid question. I thought it was stupid. But then when I went back home, I started, contemplating. You know, what was the question? He said, "Sir, where do you buy your milk?" I said, "What is this question, man? Milk I buy in milk booth." "Sir, where do you buy your medicines?" "I buy in a drugstore." "Where do you buy your cosmetics?" "I buy it from a mall." "Sir, if you want medicine, you go to your drugstore. Milk, you go to your booth. If you go to this, you go to the mall. Why do you want me to come to the same school for physics, chemistry and biology? Can't I go to one school for physics, another school for chemistry, another school for biology? Yes or no? Huh? That's the future. What we talk today is called Amazonization of education. What is Amazon? You know it? Not river. Amazon that you have there? E-shopping, e-commerce, buy everything. Do you know in United States of America today, thousands of courses are available on Amazon? You pay for 1 week course, 10 days course, 2 months course, whatever levels you want. As a matter of fact, last year when I went to US, my son told me, Dad, I am doing a course on Indian philosophy in Amazon. मैंने कहा अमेरिका जाके इंडियन फिलॉसफी को अमेज़न को पैसा देके पढ़ रहे हो. But then beautiful course. I also went through the out of interest. I said, how they have done beautifully. I wish the same thing could have been done in India. Why not? So the future, if children are going to learn from Amazon and other kinds of external inputs today, you have got a data sky which you have got on the online classrooms and all that. Now, what for you need a school? Right? And if you have a school, what kind of leadership are you going to provide in the kind of schools over there? Will we be engaging in a blame game that the society has given us to us, parents have given to us, and this is what CBSE or ICSE has given? No. We have to provide. So, what kind of leadership are you providing? To whom are you providing the leadership? Are you providing leadership to the students, to the teachers, to the society, to the CBSE? Whom are you providing? So, that is the challenge that we have. So the question basically is, I will take few case studies before I define what leadership is. As I said, I went to the school, DAV school as a principal. My principal was a man who radiated positive energy. But I had a vice principal who was at least about 10 years younger. And by the second year, they found that the principal was getting aged, therefore they parted the room into two parts. One part was principal, the other part was the vice principal. Vice principal was from the Sainik school. Now, to enter his place is like entering a lion's den. We pray God, aaj to unke samne na jaye. And very interestingly, he was a colleague of mine. He was a TGT in mathematics. Because of some family relationship, he was promoted. So, as a teacher, once when I went, took a pack of sweets to the principal's room. Principal was busy. I went to this gentleman. I gave him. Yes, Mr. Balasubramanian, what brought you? You are giving sweets, getting married? I said, no, sir. I just passed out my MA in Hindi. MA in Hindi? Hey, you are a South Indian man. How Hindi is going to help you? And moreover, you are an MSc in chemistry. Had you done MPhil and all that is good. Why are you wasting money in your MA in Hindi? Anyhow, you are giving sweet to me, no problem. So 2 minutes later, I entered the principal's room. Yes, Mr. Balasubramanian, what is the good occasion? Sir, I passed my MA in Hindi. Excellent! Don't stop here. You must do MA in English also. It does not matter whether you have done your MSc chemistry. You know, the day may not be too far when you have to sit in a similar chair, but deserve and desire. That's the message we got. Deserve? Today, what's the problem? All of us want to achieve, whether we know whether we deserve it or not. At least, उसमें बैठने के बाद भी तो हम सोच सकते हैं whether we deserve it or not. That's a challenge that we are having. That kind of leadership will be fragile, will break down. So, as a principal, now imagine, everybody wants to, as a principal, come to meet me. They see a kind of confidence in me. Nobody wants to come here. Bhagavan se, prarthana, aaj principal se mulaqat na ho. Right? When I was a principal, right? My school was 1 kilometer. I didn't have a car or a scooter. I had to walk down. But what happened when I walked down on both sides of the road? The shop owners, vendors, they used to stand up. Hey, principal sir, namaskar sir. Everybody used to stand up and wish. Not a single person will leave. But today, when I go to a theatre, the father telling me, hey, come this side, man, that side, your principal is coming. Don't go there, come here. Scenario. Changing. Friends, the question basically, he's very important person of today. Yeah.
Manager of Taj Hotel.
Fantastic. Give him a big hand. It's the first time that I've heard everybody. What is his name?
Manish Singh Rana.
No, what is his name? You know?
No, I
Okay. Right. First time I have heard somebody in my programs who has told me what who is. 2611. Taj. When the incident happened, right? When his wife and children were killed, people came running to him. Your wife and children have been killed. He said, I'm sorry, abhi aa raha hu, karke he vacated 109 people who are working under him. वहाँ से खाल पूरा निकाल के करने के बाद he went back and then attended to his family and then came back after 20 came back after a funeral, and within 21 days he saw Taj was back in action. Taj was back in action. Am I right? Commitment. Right? A leader par excellence. Now this person, yeah, he was an IT giant. Satyam Raju.
Okay.
Satyam, brilliant. His for his knowledge, skills, and thing, he made a beautiful empire. But what happened? The only mistake he did not know the difference between the need and the greed. You understand? A good leader is one who knows the difference between the need and the greed. Yahi possible hai mere khaan. I want to do this, but don't overstep. Don't overstep than what you can do. Very often leaders who have overstepped on what they are capable. You should be enterprising, no doubt about it. But your enterprise should be within what is available in your system and what you can do that. Here is a man who was brilliant. Many brilliant people in the world have failed because they cannot understand the difference between the need and the greed. They did not know where to draw the line. Are you a manager or a leader? What's the difference? Managers are those who get things right, and leaders are people who do the right things. Managers execute the right things, but they don't decide whether it's the right thing or a leader may not be executing, but he takes the right decision. So a leader has a moral responsibility, whereas a manager has an executive responsibility. Understand? 10 good soldiers, wisely led, will beat 100 without a head. A good leader should also have a core team. Don't have people who will pamper you, no. I had a boss, Dr. Singha, who used to tell me, Bala, the efficiency of an organization is equal to the square root of the number of people working in it. What is the meaning? 100 log kaam karte hain, square root is 10. 10 people are the people who really produce, and the remaining people mostly take it. And your challenge as a leader is to how to increase that square root more. You understand? Every school has a core team, brilliant people. You don't have to tell them that you have to do. But then you depend exclusively on them. That's bad. You take people out to see how you do that. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you different types of leaders. I've given a classification here: standalone leader, charismatic leader, performing leader, inspirational leader, futuristic leader. Can you give an example for each category from present day, either from politics or from corporate or from business world or from any other social network? Take the first one, standalone leader. Hitler, yes, to a certain extent he was standalone. He, in Indian environment? No.
Indira Gandhi?
No.
Rahul Gandhi.
No. I would rather put, now that you are getting at the name, I would put rather Sonia Gandhi as a standalone leader, because when it came to prime ministership and other things, she said, I don't want it. She stood out and put now strategy is, she gave PM and others so many things. She puts people and stands alone as a leader. There are a number of people. Standalone leaders are people who put others on the job but still hold the leadership with them. Charismatic leader.
बोस एंड
Indira
गांधी
Gandhi.
हाँ जी,
बोस एंड गांधी सुभाष चंद्र बोस एंड महात्मा गांधी
करिश्मा तो छोड़िए उनके पास. We have already, my Jayalalitha is there, Laluji is there, and you have N.T. Ramarao is there.
Mamta Banerjee.
Modi ji is also.
Mamta ji. So we have so many people who have got charisma. They have got leadership because of the charisma. Not, you listen, not that Mahatma Gandhi doesn't have charisma, but he has got better things. Okay, he has got better things. Now, performing leader.
मोदी
Narendra Modi.
I don't want to enter politics.
MGR सर
Huh?
MGR
Well, he was, I put him in charisma. Performing leader, let us say from industry. Narayan Murthy or Ratan Tata,
Yes.
right? Okay? Right. Then, inspirational leader.
टैगोर
Tagore ji.
Tagore, well, he is inspiration for quite a few people. Limited. Then Abdul Kalam,
He's a futuristic leader.
futuristic leader.
Abdul Kalam.
He is also, but I could put now Rajiv Gandhi back for the reason when he talked about technology empowerment and all that, he was there. So I can put across. Now, tell me, as a principal, to which category you want to be? All?
इंस्पिरेशनल
Why?
All, sir, all.
ऑल
Always with all?
Performing also, yes, sir.
Sometimes some role, sometimes
Depending upon the charismatic.
ऑल
All
एक्सेप्ट
the
फर्स्ट वन
all in one.
You have no option, you have to be in all the category and whenever the time warrants. That's why I told you the job of a principal is more difficult than the job of a... Right. Now I'm going to put another classification. Functional leaders, strategic leaders, visionary leaders, position leaders, situational leaders. Give me an example. Let's take first, functional leader. Hmm? Amit Shah. Don't want to enter into a controversy, right? Functional leader. Can we have some other examples? Hmm? Functional leader.
सुभाष चंद्र बोस
Subhash Chandra Bose, yes, he was performing a kind of function.
Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel.
Patel, I will take him reserved into another category. Yes, I can call him also a functional leader for the simple reason during the independence time when the whole country has to be integrated, while all others were talking, he got into an action and he could be put across. Now, strategic leader. Pardon?
That also
Sardar Patel was also strategic leader. Rajaji was a great strategic leader, right? The strategic leader. Sometimes you can put your army heads also into strategic leaders who work it out over there. So, positional, visionary leader. Visionary leader. Well, again, we can put Kalam also back into visionary leader over there. Then, positional leader.
Nehru ji.
No comments. I will put this way. Do you know Neelam Sanjeev Reddy?
yes, yes. Neelam Sanjeev.
Right? Who was he? President. Zail Singh? President. Pratibha Patil? President. All these people were known more because of the position rather because what they have delivered across. So there are positional leaders who come to limelight because of the position they hold, and when they leave the position, their leadership is gone. Positional leader. Situational leader.
मोदी
नहीं, मोदी तो इलेक्शन में आ गई है, सोनिया गांधी भी इलेक्शन में आ गई. Who is situational leader?
Sir, Amit Shah. Whenever,
सर अन्ना हजारे
Yes, could be Anna Hazare, good. AK, your AK.
अरविंद केजरीवाल
Arvind Kejriwal भी situational leader है. There are so many situational leaders. For example, there is a train which is passing through. Suddenly the train meets an accident.
Hardik Patel.
Hardik Patel भी है. No, what I'm saying is, train is passing through. Suddenly there is an accident. Now somebody comes over there, अरे भैया पानी लाओ, ये लाओ, वो लाओ करके, he organizes the whole thing and he becomes a leader at that place over there. He may not have a recognition name, but he becomes a situation leader. आपके annual day कर रहे हैं, right? Something goes wrong, the person has not come, आपके teacher आते हैं, ma'am you don't worry, I will take care of everything करके, आपको आके they are handling it out, they become a situational leader. Now, in which category you want to be here?
All the categories.
Huh?
In all the categories.
Yeah, Ji. You want everything?
Yes. Sir, 10 faces.
5 plus 5, 10 becomes, therefore you are up. You need to be a Ravana with 10 faces. That's a difficulty. As a corporate company, as a business leader, any one of the challenges you can have, 1 or 2 or 3 you can have. But then, as a principle of today, you have 10. And then, one leadership is not yet defined, is academic leadership. Yes?
That is not defined here, sir.
That's not defined. So, 10. You understand? Now, where do you want to lead? You want to lead from the front, you want to lead from the back, you want to lead from the side, you want to lead by presence or absence by image.
Everything.
All the
Everything.
sides.
Also,
Now, let's take an example. Leading from the front,
All generally military leaders.
generally military leaders, Manik Shah and others leading from the front. Leading from the back,
Shepherds.
huh?
Ajit Doval.
Ajit Doval, even you can say Sonia Gandhi leading from the back. Leading from the back. Leading from the side, that was really Mahatma Gandhi.
yes.
Mahatma Gandhi, he never came to the front. He never wanted a recognition. He never went back. He walked along with people. He promoted leaders there. So he's a typical leader of Janta. Most of the Janta leaders, like for example, you take Prakash Narayan. He comes from this group over there, leading from the side. Leading by presence. People like who are in position, जैसे मैंने कहा, Pratibha Patil and others who are in position. By their presence it matters, but their absence that doesn't matter. Leading by absence.
Mother Teresa.
Gandhi leads by absence.
Yes.
Marx leads by absence. Lenin leads by absence. Right? Their principles hang over a period of time. That's it. And leading by image,
Mother Teresa.
Amitabh Bachchan, Sachin Tendulkar.
Yes.
Right? They got images over there. And where do you want to be?
Everywhere, sir.
Yeah, madam.
15 faces. No.
Everywhere. You have to lead from the front, you have to lead from the back, you have to lead from the side, you have to lead from the
By present, absent by.
presence. कभी कभी दिखाना है I am the principal. कभी कभी principal teachers will say, happy principal is not here today. That's also good leadership. So, how difficult it is, the job of a, right? Then comes situation leader का बोल दिया, passionate leaders. ये सब है, but passion नहीं है आपको.
All the
Who is a passionate leader? Beautiful definition. When you set yourself on fire, people love to come and see how you burn. जब आप जलते हैं, लोग आके देखते हैं ये कैसे जलते हैं. That's a passionate leadership. लोग कहते हैं ये काम हो नहीं पाएगा, आप करवा के दिखाते हैं ये होगा, मैं कर सकती हूँ. And that's a passionate leadership. So, what was the principle? Do you need a passionate leadership? You need a
Not necessary.
Any job you do, you need to be a passionate leader. You need to be a part of passionate leader. Right? That makes so. Let us, there is something called servant leadership. Now, in America and other many, we talk about servant. What is that? A good leader has to be necessarily a good servant. Now, only when you have been a good servant, you can emerge that. Typical example for that, Swami Vivekananda. Right? Even your Mother Teresa. Right? All this did by service, they kind of serve. In other words, you have leadership, you are, the servant leaders have great empathy for the team. Now, in other words, a good principle, when you have empathy for the people, right? When you take care of, you become a servant leader, right? Finally, pragmatic. आपने देखा है फिल्म
Yes.
चक दे? And what is the last beautiful
40 minutes for that. 70 minutes.
70 मिनट, वो 70 मिनट,
तुम्हारे
ये 70 मिनट आपके हैं। जब आप खेलने जाएंगे, ऐसे खेलना जिंदगी में दोबारा आपको खेलने का मौका ही नहीं मिलता हो, है ना? I tell my teachers, ये 40 मिनट आपको जो क्लास में जाने को मिलता है, जाके ऐसे पढ़ाइए कि जिंदगी में दोबारा आपको पढ़ाने का मौका ही नहीं मिलता, right? And that's being done. So, what is that you know? You must know where you are going. If you do not know where you are going, any road will take you there. Am I right? So, please define yourself. Doesn't matter where you go, but you must know where you are going. If you choose 2 rabbits,
Both.
you will not get either of them. Stay focused. Stay focused. Right? Okay. Now what I am going to do is 1:15. I am just giving you 10 minutes break. 1:25 we are coming back, and we will stop at 2 and then go for lunch. Okay? I'll take decision making once you come back. I want them to stretch out so that they laugh.